I've been live low key for about 5 minutes because a couple of fish commented in the chat, and I was like here, like cleaning my glasses and like reading my paper.
Yeah.
So, woo! It's a little different than Instagram. Happens every time for us, though, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll do a quick introduction.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Welcome everyone to the first LeafyLive installment on the Betta Botanicals YouTube channel. I am joined here by Calvin. His Instagram handle is CDscapes, and he is one of my TanninBae brand ambassadors. And I think you've been an ambassador for 3 years, 4 years, 3 years.
One of the first ones.
Yeah, I think you were like one of the first 2 or 3 ambassadors I ever had for the company.
Yeah.
All right. So the goal today is to go over a whole bunch of beginner and intermediate botanical method aquarium, Blackwater, biotope questions that were submitted to us over on Instagram. And I believe I do have the live chat feature correctly turned on, hopefully. So if you do have questions along the way, feel free to put them in the chat. And Calvin and I will be sure to make sure that we answer those questions for you. And we're going to hang out, talk about leaves and botanicals, bark, detritus for the next hour, and talk about the methods behind the madness of why we keep PP water in our tanks, as social media just loves to talk about. Do you want to? Should we go into the questions list, or do you want to show us any of your special projects yet? When do you want to show that off?
Yeah, I'll show off a couple. So, had a saltwater tank. Saltwater tank crashed. Worst April Fool's thing ever. But out of that, since my roommate had a big 45-gallon that was saltwater, they kind of had life thrown at them, and they're like, "I'm not doing saltwater anymore." So took the livestock and got myself a tank.
I love the roots.
Oh, they're amazing roots.
Bark pieces.
Yeah.
What species of roots are those?
That's Talawa.
Cool.
The Zoomed, Talawa or whatever, however you say it.
Those look so cool. It looks literally like an eroded stream bank.
Yep. And probably surprising to you, it's going to be the first ever South American tank I've done.
I have been waiting for this day. I feel like I've heard you talk about wanting to do one of these for maybe since day one of your ambassadorship, but you've just been Southeast Asia specific.
The roots, I thought about it for a Southeast Asian. I'm like, it just doesn't look like Southeast Asia.
It looks
those roots are very eroded, Rio Negro, Pantanal.
Absolutely.
So I got that one. And then
hold on, wait. I have a million questions.
All right.
Okay, so we have the roots that you're using. Okay, but what's in the substrate? What is the substrate?
So the substrate is at some really great people with Pond Supply Company.
Yeah.
They're Chalili, I think is how you say it. Found their stuff one day because I was like, I want a more natural sedimented substrate, and I kind of found it.
Yeah.
Made some little test batches, used it. I think I've used it now for the past 2 years.
It has nutrients. It has nutrients. It's not just sands and detritus.
Yeah, it's like straight up clay.
Perfect.
And there's like a little bit of dirt and some sand in there, but it's pretty much straight clay.
Cool.
And it works great. I haven't had any issues with it. Every once in a while, there'll be like a random piece of plastic or something in there, but it's dirt, so it happens.
Yeah.
So the base is that, and then locally I found a really nice like dark brown sand.
Cool. Okay.
So I mixed that in there. Huh?
Did you do the local sand? Was this something you went and collected yourself, or was this from like a supply store, like a landscaping shop or a fish store, or?
It was from one of the guys around here. I don't know where he got it, but he was like, I have a bucket of it left. I can't collect it anymore.
Cool.
Do you want it? And I was like, sure. Because initially it was going to be Southeast Asia, like peat swamp. So I'm like, all right, really dark substrate. and I was looking at wet spot because
Dry spot.
yeah, dry spot now. It's dry spot. Sadly, I had a group of 7 dwarf coolie loaches.
Oh,
The flight got delayed, and then it was on a truck all day, and they didn't make it. So they were really nice. They're like, I know you didn't purchase shipping insurance, which usually I do, so I was really confused about that. But they're like, we'll do a one-time replacement, and I'm like, well, can we just add the bag to another shipment so I can just get a couple other
perfect.
things? And they had Nanostomus
Yes.
and Desai, I think.
Cool.
They're really, really tiny. They're like 14 to 16 millimeter max length. So like,
It's a pencil fish.
yeah, it's
Okay. Does it have red on the tail?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Cool.
pretty much
That'll be
like
really good.
gold stripe down the center.
Yeah.
Kind of tan body with like a red tail. So those are gonna go in there. So then that flipped the switch. I'm like, well, should probably make the habitat a little more better for the fish. Had some play sand in our closet of all things that I was like, well, it looks like it works. Because I was looking last night, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll buy Sunset Gold, and I'm like, I don't really want to buy anymore. I kind of spent a lot of money already. So I saw play sand, and I'm like, perfect.
Yeah, I feel like once you get multiple tank syndrome, you end up having like eighth of a bag of sands in this color, this color, this color, and you get to this point where you're like, we're gonna throw them all together, and then add in some pond lily soil, and then you're like, whoa.
Yeah, well, that pond lily soil, I was like, around the start of everyone's new like budget fiscal year, I kind of reached out to a few companies just to see if they wanted to do stuff this year.
Yeah.
And I just asked them, like, hey, I've used your stuff. I want to use it in aquariums. I know it's probably not your intended use, but I think it would be beneficial for everyone.
It's in water.
Yep, it's in water. Like, people might not realize that they can use it in aquariums too.
Cool.
And they were like, yeah, sure, we'll send you some. And I'm like, all right, thinking I'll get like 6 quarts of it.
I sent you a truckload.
I kid you not, they sent me 3 boxes. It's like 64 quarts in each box. I was like,
oh my god. Wait, hold on. What is this?
I don't know.
See, this is what happens when I go live on when we go live on YouTube for the first time. I haven't like blacklisted certain words. Some messages such as top chat. Oh boy. Well, we'll just have to see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll roll with it. Okay.
See how quickly we get canceled.
Yeah, well, we might just end it up. Sorry, chat. Thank you. Okay, question. What is the classification of this ecosystem? Is it Blackwater? Is it biotope? Is it botanical method?
I'd say biotope inspired botanical method.
Okay.
I looked at like seriously fish.
Love that website.
Yeah, it was mentioned like clear water, so I was kind of like, well, I can do that. I haven't done that in a while.
Yeah.
And they're usually found in like smaller tributaries of the lagoon that is like a Morishal.
Yeah. Sorry, what?
Oh.
I thought the internet cut out for a second.
No, you're all good. So they're found in like tributaries and lagoons from like cut off from Morishal habitats.
Okay, cool.
So it was kind of like, okay, root structure reaching into the water of like an old Morishal. If the tank was bigger, I probably would, if it was maybe 2 times as long and maybe like 1.5 times as deep, I probably would have included some other palm stuff. But with how small it is, adding palm stuff would just meh.
I'll just have to find you some extra small palm fronds from South America. I'll start looking, and if anything, we can get some generic tropical ones. I think some of the Excelsa palm fronds I have are extra small.
Yeah. Because I mean, even some of the palm, like their roots, can get this big and fibrous too. So.
Yeah. Perfect.
But yeah, little micro niche, used about 30 bags of Betta tea.
Oh my gosh. When you sent me that, I just was like, oh no. That if you ever need crushed leaves, next time just ask. I have bags of it to use exactly for what you did with Betta tea.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was like 20 bags of maroon and like 10 bags of brown. Because again,
Yeah.
it was going to be like a peat swamp. So I'm like, oh, really
Yeah.
dark. And it was dark. It
Yeah.
looked like coffee.
It was dark. It is
Yeah.
now not as dark.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That actually touches on one of the questions you and I normally cover.
Hmm.
Why do you think in this system the tannins disappeared?
So this one, I just did water changes and I took it all out. That's why
Oh,
it's
okay.
lighter.
Yeah.
But usually, a lot of the times, it'll happen. There's a lot of like CEC um, from your substrates, like aqua soils. A lot of the times, will have a lot of um, what am I trying to think of? A lot of CEC or it'll
Cation exchange capacity.
yeah, a lot of higher ion exchange, yeah, and
Yeah.
it'll kind of suck out the tannins that way. If you
Yeah.
have alkaline water too, that combined with the tannins,
Yep.
certain floating plants I've noticed can suck up tannins.
Yeah.
A big one that was a popular thing probably what 5 years ago in botanical tanks was using purple non-sulfur bacteria
I still love
before.
that stuff.
Yeah, I love it, but like the longer it's been out, the more it's kind of been realized that it feeds on tannins. So
Yes. The company that I like getting it from, Hydrospace Microbial Products, I believe that they culture it on the tannins produced by some invasive like milfoil plants. So
yeah,
they are remediating habitats in the collection of the milfoil, which is beneficial,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah,
And yes, and then a couple of fish is saying UV breakdown, absorption
mm,
into substrate, chemical breakdown, and uptake by organisms.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
I think a lot of it also has to do with when the aquatic plants, especially floating plants, the amount of
yeah.
surface area those plants create.
Hmm.
There's going to be a whole bunch of bacteria and fungi on those surfaces of the roots and the leaves, and we know that bacteria and fungi can take up tannins or help to oxidize them out of
Yeah,
the system.
yeah,
So, yeah, tannins are like the most amazing thing, but everything in the aquarium is set up to remove them out of the water column. It is very frustrating.
very.
Yeah. How long has the tank been set up?
Half an hour.
Oh, okay, cool. Do you see any microfauna in it yet?
No,
Okay. And
because
are you using RO DI water or tap water mixture?
RO. I
RO?
always
Okay.
use RODI. Yeah.
Okay. So if you have no microfauna now, I know
Hmm.
that you're a huge fan of adding in copepods and other organisms. You get them a lot from, what is it, Carolina Biological Supply?
Yep. Carolina Biological Supply.
One of the questions we had asked on our question sticker was how you would set up the ecosystem to maintain robust populations of cocoa pods, copepods, if you have Daphnia
Hmm.
or ostracods, scuds, the whole gamut of micro and macrofauna. How would you ensure that they have optimal food sources in this brand new system?
Yeah. So honestly, I'd probably let it run for a week just to kind of let it stabilize itself first.
Yeah.
I mean, if you add it right away, you have all that botanical stuff breaking down. You have all the bacteria. You're kind of just throwing money into the tank. And yeah, some of the things could survive, but it wouldn't be as ideal. I also usually like to get a little bit more botanical material in there just so they can kind of have a place to get out of the way of when fish get added and stuff. They can make
Oh,
their own
yeah.
little hotspots. I do a lot of all-in-one tanks, so I'll put like I think the second chamber in this innovative marine 15 has about 20 marine pure spheres
Okay.
that I found off of marketplace for like $20.
We love
Greatest
markets.
greatest deal ever. Yeah, we got like a whole 3-gallon bucket and it was just filled to the brim for $20. And like I think a pack of them is like $20 or something. But I'll do that. So they'll kind of
Wait,
live.
what do the spheres do? What do they provide?
So They are insanely porous, so it's just another massive place for beneficial bacteria to grow. And I know it already grows a lot in the tank, but I'm just always a nut for beneficial bacteria.
Yeah, you can't have
Mechanical and
too much.
chemical, not really. Mechanical, I might run like a filter pad for a couple weeks, but even then it's iffy. But yeah, really getting like I like shredded botanicals a lot for the microfauna because it makes so many interstitial spaces that they can live and breed in.
Ooh,
I've noticed,
interstitial spaces, that's a really good keyword. We should use
yeah,
it more in the hobby.
I love that word. I haven't noticed Daphnia usually do too well just because
Yeah.
they don't like flow as much and
Yeah.
they like suspended particles. And if you're floating in the midwater column, you're kind of
I think Kyle is culturing Daphnia in the closet of his office. He has like a
Yep,
5-gallon bucket set up with an air
yep,
stone and then a light on it 24/7 because they eat green water,
yeah,
I
yep,
think, right? Yeah.
yeah. And then he just set out, I think, 2 tubs of
Yeah.
pseudomogio. I think
Cool.
he sent his honey blue eyes. They went back in the pond this year, so
It is summer tubbing season. I really want to
it's.
set up a
Oh,
summer tub here.
he was telling me that it was 94, I think, last week down in Arizona, and up here it's in like the 50s. I'm like,
Yeah.
you can have that. I no.
Yeah. Today's our warmest day. I think it's going to get up to 68,
Jeez.
but it was 34 degrees last night still.
Yep.
Yeah. So I've got all the heaters in the ecosystem garage still on for the dart frogs, but pretty soon here I'm going to be able to turn those off, just run a fan, and then probably end of May I'll be running the AC in here to cool it back under 80 degrees.
That'll be nice though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So shredded botanicals for the
Yep.
for the micro and macrofauna. I feel like one of the things that helps me with the success of the population is I find they eat a lot of the biofilms that grow on the botanicals, and there
Yes.
seems to always be more present on new leaves and seed pods.
Yeah.
So I tend to kind of add a leaf in every couple days
Yep.
instead of 5 on Monday and then let them condition for however long.
Oh yeah.
That way you kind of always have this new source of biofilms and fungi growing on this leaf litter seed pods for those microfauna and macrofauna to snack on the supplemental nutrition
Yeah.
of the
For sure.
aquarium. Yeah,
Beta also spent Beta tea bags.
yeah,
Amazing. When I
yeah,
had in my college dorm, I had a little 2-gallon pond, and I put a Beta tea bag in there, and I was kind of like, huh, it's a lot
yeah,
of black dots on this Beta tea bag, and I
yep,
like pulled it out of the water, and it was coated in ostracods.
yeah.
And I mean, like, it was in my hand, and I could feel the tiny, minute ostracods moving in my
Ugh.
hand.
The tea bags we use are 100% paper, so I'm sure they're able to be consumed by the microfauna. And
Yep.
then I think the botanicals I have in those tea bags are prepared in such a way that the cellulose surfaces in the leaves are
Hmm.
cracked and broken down better. So I'm sure it's like a little easier for them to start consuming them or for the biofilms to get in there and start growing.
It's even like I sprayed the cube, I think, 3 times in the matter of like 45 minutes. And then I filled the tank the first time, and I only had about 10 leaves, 10 of the crushed leaves like float up.
Yeah.
So even that way, like, again, Ben has crushed leaves. You don't have to use your whole bag of beta tea. But
Yeah. I think maybe in May I have a couple substrate enriching things sitting around in some of the boxes I have. Maybe it's time that I bring those to light and people can mix them into their own substrates
yeah,
as you have been doing.
yeah.
Cool. All right. Next question that we have on here. Okay. You've just added in a whole bunch of brand new wood into this tank.
Hmm.
One of the questions we have is how you manage the mold, the aquatic hyphomycetes that might show up on this wood. Do you have vivariums as well?
Yeah, I have a couple.
So I guess also, how do you manage the mold on that wood as well, or do you manage it?
So I usually won't like micromanage
Yeah.
per se, or even really manage it. I'll just do, instead of once a week 20% water changes, maybe I'll do it
Mhm.
2 times a week, maybe 3 times if it's like super bloomed. I know the wood in the secret project that I'm kind of hiding with my shoulder. That
Which
one,
shoulder?
this one, you can
Yeah,
kind
I
of see the
can't see it.
light. You can kind of see it
Ah,
just a little
okay.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but that one, that wood was really nutrient dense for some reason. It was sold as like a reptile wood.
Mhm.
And it was like Weirwood or something like that. It was a really weird name, but
We love the trade names of the
yeah,
different.
yeah, that one grew weird, really gelatinous, big
Yeah.
glob biofilms, and it was even in like a flowing tank. And I took it out because at that point I got kind of concerned. That was one of the only times where I was like, "Is this even appropriate for aquariums?" Because I did a water
Yeah.
change and I smelled it, and it smelled rotten. I was like, "Okay." So that one was one where
Those anaerobic
yeah,
units.
yeah, I took it out, boiled it probably 5 or 6 times just to kind of speed up the sugar extraction process.
I was literally going to say, I wonder if that specific kind of wood you got was harvested green and wasn't aged correctly.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. But yeah, I boiled it a couple handful more times, and it hasn't really done much since. So
Heck yeah.
yeah, same with. I guess I'll show all the people.
I mean, don't release your secrets, but I understand the premise.
I'll release them. So this is honeysuckle,
Yeah.
but I collected it too late in the season,
Yeah.
and I don't know if there's any buds left on it, but it did have buds like everywhere on it. You can kind of see like that's a bud.
Where all the pockets of the growth
Yeah,
are, those are the
yeah, where all
buds.
the fuzzy pockets are. So those are
I
buds.
I find that this happens even on the oak twigs that I get that are conditioned. Wherever
Yeah,
the leaf buds would have been attached,
yeah,
it just preferentially grows biofilms out of there, or like a casing. I think there's probably a couple um, photos on the website. There's a blog post rewriting the villainous tales of aquarium mold.
yep,
I think I know I have photos that you've provided me in that blog, and I think I've also added some photos there, and I think that's the blog post where that's stored.
yeah. I think I did. Yeah, I sent you a picture. I think of an oak twig where it was like the two bud shoots, and it's just massive gelatinous biofilms. But
All right,
yeah,
so what's the story of this?
so I
Has
know
Botanical-
we were gonna talk about collected botanicals too, which
Oh
is
yeah, this is a great
perfect
segue.
because all of that grass that's in there, I collected. Hopefully soon at some point, it will be available at Beta Botanicals. I just have
I
to
am so ready.
I just have to get my butt in gear and find the motivation to fill a 20 by 20 by 20 box.
Yes, massive.
Yeah,
Send me your dead grass.
yeah. Um,
This is
I'm
not
not
lawn grass.
yeah, I'm not 100% certain what species it is, but it is a
It looks amazing.
true like semi-aquatic emergent grass. So,
There's I don't know if I think I sent you a screenshot. I think the website's called like Prairie Moon Nursery, and they have a whole bunch of grass seeds that you
yep,
can get for semi-emergent hedges, sedges, and grasses.
yep,
And I want to start trying to grow them in the aquariums. I probably would need to create some kind of like humidity dome on the 75 gallon if I was to do this.
oh yeah,
But so I might start it in the Foresta down here. But I
yep,
think, I mean, every time we see a habitat photo sent to us from Southeast Asia, more
yeah.
often than not, it has some kind of grass going substrate to emergent in the ecosystem.
Well, it was like, oh, I can't remember the guy's name. ri.awa, I think is his handle on Instagram.
Okay.
The one, the British guy that puts his camera in the rice paddies and stuff.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
he has some incredible footage and incredibly viral YouTube documentaries on Beta Splendens habitat. Are we
Yep.
thinking about the right thing? And
Splendens
yeah,
and Simplex.
yeah,
Because he
yep,
went to the limestone caves and found Simplex.
yep,
But this is pretty much based off of the one that he shows where it's sparkling gouramis, and least rasboras, I think,
yeah,
are the two fish that are going to be in here.
perfect.
Um, Alex Frankie
Yep.
is potentially sending purple bamboo.
Oh yeah, he sent me
So
some as well.
yeah, we're gonna get some purple bamboo in here, so it kind of gives it more reed look. Because there's either that or Eliocharis montevidensis with a giant hairgrass.
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw both in the picture, but
Um, I might be able to send you now that I have aquarium plants on the website and it's pond season, I have access to some pond plants.
yeah,
So if there's send me a list of any specific plants you want. I think I can get them up on the site and then we could send them your way. I know that I have different kinds of water celery that I can add and some lilies and then I think I have some kind of grass plant, but I think it might be huge.
okay.
Yeah, let
Oh,
me
I
do
just
that.
noticed there's a little water beetle in there too.
There's a water beetle.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, he came from the grass. I did not add him. He was in the grass, so that's cool.
Holy smokes. I
Yeah,
got chills.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah. I am definitely reaching out to what's his name? Peter Clausen. He owns Bugs in Cyberspace.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm gonna put some beetles in there too. I think because why not?
That'd be cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Got to
So
move my least rasboras from the 15 with the red eye puffer. I think I'm gonna just
yeah,
put them in there because a little better.
that'd be good.
Yeah.
So you're collecting dried grasses end of season,
Yep.
last ditch effort to collect honeysuckle before they leaf out.
Yep.
Are you collecting any other botanicals right now before spring sets in and now all the plants finish waking up?
Um, maybe like the last of the northern pin oak that still have their winter leaves on them.
Oh yeah.
But even then, I think some of the xylem is waking up in the end of the sticks, so it's going to
Yeah.
kind of a green center. And what else?
Alder
I guess
cones. I'm
alder cones.
collecting
Yeah.
alder cones.
Yep. I
I'm
was gonna
collecting
say.
alder cones. The oak twigs the oak leaves that overwintered and are falling off the trees now. I'm getting
Yep.
those.
Yep.
Um, I have a whole bunch of cottonwood trees on the backwoods where we live, and I
Yep.
think I'm gonna go see if I can collect some of those leaves because although they fall into a river and there's a lot of dilution in the river, I feel like those could be cool to use and they have a very interesting shape to them.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. We have a lot of cottonwoods around here. So.
Sycamore maples.
Ooh, yeah.
Those are cool. Yeah.
Sycamore maple bark.
I haven't had that in such a long time. I think I can probably go and get it again. The thing
Yeah.
is, I have to wait for the trees to peel it themselves because I
Yeah.
don't want to go peeling it
Go
off. So
rip it. Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to destroy the tree.
Yeah. You got to
I
go
can.
find like the one sycamore that fell
Yeah.
and
Yep.
then boil the heck out of it
Oh,
before you resell it.
remember how you sent me oak bark
Yeah.
last year?
Yep.
I have access to a truckload of oak bark now.
Oh.
So I will be getting that later this spring to add. So we'll have I'll get the mangrove bark available, we'll get oak bark, and then the brand new ichnocarpus bark, which is releasing in April, like in a couple weeks,
Ooh,
a week.
see, I like my barks.
Yeah, barks are fun.
I think actually that mangrove bark that you sent me a picture of, I
Yeah,
think it is from the Talawa mangrove because I'm looking at
oh,
this
okay.
Talawa mangrove bark and it is
Yeah.
super thin and it has like that orangish underside to it.
It's used traditionally in dyeing specific kinds of clothes
Hmm.
for I don't know if it's religious ceremonies or if it's purely just to get a specific color out of it. So I finally have found a reliable source that instead of collecting it from nature, they grow their own trees for the purpose of harvesting it.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
it creates habitat. They continually repopulate it. It kind of falls into that area, I think, of the Canadian peat companies where they repeat their bogs.
Hmm.
So it's as long as you don't collect too much, it's more sustainable than the alternative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My girlfriend just came in and said the Twins finally scored some runs.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotta love being a Minnesota sports fan and never having success in anything ever.
All right, we got another question. Uh, Anaerobic pockets
Yep.
in botanical method aquariums, biotopes, Blackwater. How do we manage them? And is there a connection to the microfauna in the substrates and those pockets?
I'm gonna
What
say
do
it.
you?
I'm
What's your
probably gonna get
understanding?
some hate. They don't exist.
Yeah,
They really don't exist in my mind.
the anaerobic pockets. Yeah.
You're to get a true biological anaerobic pocket, you're gonna need at least 4 to 6 inches of soil.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's with absolute no flow, no oxygen anywhere, anytime. It, you can't truly get that in an aquarium, in my mind.
You can get the verge of an anaerobic pocket,
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah,
which is
you
where
you
that
can,
smell comes from, but
yeah,
you do need. I remember seeing a soil column in biology, and the anaerobic pocket was like at least 6 inches down in the
yes,
substrate where the
yeah,
color change happened.
yeah. We had a wetland delineation class, and we got to go out to some of the wetlands around Bemidji,
Yeah,
and we took soil cars,
yeah.
and yeah, it was like even in a peat swamp, you had 2 feet of decomposed peat, and then at the very bottom of the core was like the anaerobic.
It's like a black line in the
Oh
sand,
yeah,
in the
yep,
substrate, right? It goes
yep,
from like various hues of browns and tans, then it's
yep,
black.
yep. It's like various hues of tans, and then there's like the gray. They call it like the glade layer, kind of, and
Mm.
then yeah, just went like black. And it was kind of cool sometimes because that glade layer can be a little thicker, and if you expose that to oxygen, sometimes the iron will reoxidize, so then it will turn orange. And I've seen that happen actually. I have a tank that I'm looking at right now that fern tank, the fern log tank that I've had for 4 years, 3 years.
You are not allowed to break that down. It must stay.
Oh, it's not. If anything, I'm buying it back from my roommate because I left it here and they love it, but
Oh, okay.
I might buy it from them because
Yeah.
it is mine. But in that one right now, I can see there's some black pockets, there's orange, but it doesn't smell. It has never had flow in it for 3 years. So even if the 2 inches of soil that's compacted was anaerobic, like it hasn't done anything.
Do you think that the presence of microfauna can help deter those
Oh yeah.
anaerobic pockets? Because I know
Oh yeah.
you've sent me, and Brandy's in the chat as well. Both of you have sent me photos. I think they're up on the website in the I think Microfauna blog. Did you write? You wrote me the
Yeah.
Microfauna blog, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have those photos in that blog post, and it looks there's just all these tunnels from the
Yes.
detritus worms, and it
Yes.
makes me think of the like no-till agriculture movement that's happening, where you just layer the previous, and then you add compost, and then you grow new crops, and then the
Yep.
worms kind of aerate it. I
Yep.
that's got to deter the pockets in
Yeah.
the aquarium.
As expensive as they are now, honestly, to me, a fundamental part of a botanical aquarium is blackworms.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because that's what makes all the tunnels.
Yeah.
That, or even like Malaysian trumpet snails, has been
I
like,
can't get on board with Malaysian trumpet
yeah, I
snails. I'm
know.
so
That's
sorry.
always been the poster child, but I think getting blackworms, get an ounce of blackworms, throw them in your tank. They're not going to foul up your water. They're going to live. They're going to breed.
Do it before you have fish,
Yes,
though.
Yes. I've noticed even if you add like an ounce at a time, they're not going to get all of them.
Oh, got
You're
it.
going to feed them. You're going to feed your fish, but like don't freak out about the ones that get out. I know a lot of the times, like on some of the newer like hobby pages, I see people like, I didn't get all my blackworms. They're in my gravel. I'm like, it's okay.
You're like, good.
I'm like, yeah, they're helping
They're
eat.
turning over the
Yeah.
substrate, eating the poop, eating the uneaten food,
Yep.
unlocking the nutrients in it, and then if you have plants, the plants will absorb it.
Yeah. Brandy, I haven't had an issue with them repopulating. I put 3 ounces once in a 2-gallon. So it was like the whole substrate. It was just like a field of blackworms, and
Wow.
nothing really happened.
Where do you buy them?
So local fish stores usually have them. It can be a little hit or miss. I know a couple of stores around me, theirs are like infested with leeches, and I know leeches aren't really an issue, but it's just kind of like that. I don't really want leeches in my tank sort of thing.
Yeah. So you need
Carolina
like a sterile
Biological.
culture.
Yeah. Carolina Biological has blackworms. It comes in like a little 2-ounce specimen container. I think it's like $13.
That's pretty good.
So you get a decent chunk. And they also have what they market as deer worms, which are microtubifex worms.
Ooh, okay.
Yes. When I found out they were microtubifex, I was so happy because that was one that I wanted. And you like never see them for sale anymore.
Yeah.
Because they kind of went out of the wayside. But if you can afford it, it'll be like $30 for those 2 cultures, which you're kind of like, I'm spending $30 on worms.
Yeah.
But once you add them to your tank, they're gonna repopulate. And
you could probably split the culture too. Put half in, and you could culture the other half.
Yeah. I usually, you could do with gravel in it. I found it's easier just to use like leaf mulch.
Yeah. Shredded leaves.
Yep, shredded leaves.
Or coconut husk chunks.
Yep, because then when you want to top off your botanicals, you just take some of that leaf mulch and
this is vivarium related. One of my wholesale accounts down in Olympia, Petworks, one of the OG TikTok people I was friends with, his handle is Safari Joe.
Yeah.
He just started working over there because he's going to college over there. And he was messaging me saying, we want to sell ready to go bioactive setups, but botanicals take so long. And my immediate response was what you just said. And it's what I also got from KJ the Aquarist, but his Instagram handle's different. I think is Carton.
Yeah.
He used to keep a botanical conditioning tote.
Yep. He used to keep a tote. I remember that because I set one up and then it turned into a quarantine and then it turned into.
Yeah. You just condition the leaves.
Yep.
If you don't pull the leaves out in time, they turn into detritus, which you just pull from when you establish a new tank, or if you want to add it in because, I don't know, you siphon some out in a water exchange on purpose or on accident, or your filter outflow changed and kind of ballooned it out and you want to put fresh stuff in. Yeah. So I told him to get a bin and put in all the leaves in there with the isopods and the springtails and just mist it down and let the botanicals condition in the tote for his vivariums at the store.
Yeah.
I think that's just like, I mean, it's another tank. So if you have the space, you can set it up.
Yeah. And then another thing too, they have, Carolina Biological has, they call it a mixed crustacean, where it's copepods, amphipods, ostracods, sometimes Daphnia.
Yeah.
And that one's the most expensive culture. That one's 18, but you get like this wide variety. It's like basically a catch-all minus the like, blackworms and deer worms.
I need to set up a Microfauna only tank. Oh my gosh.
I did a Microfauna only tank this summer. It was that little 1-gallon cube.
Oh yeah.
Where I went to go collect pretty much most of the Microfauna.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one was really fun to have. It didn't do too great after a while, just because it was 1 gallon, so certain things dominated and other things fell off. But
the hierarchy of the food web and
yeah,
trophic levels and
yeah,
little tiny bugs get eaten by bigger bugs and there's not enough little bugs and yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then I had a really weird, like clear predatory flatworm that like kind of just took over. It was
Whoa.
really weird.
You're like,
Yeah.
don't accidentally get that in your other tanks.
Oh, literally, I was like, I'm not gonna use it anymore because, yeah, it was.
On the topic of conditioned botanicals and mulm,
Mhm.
Fernando asked you a question, I think, on your question sticker that you had on IG.
Yep.
So, Brandy has a really mulmy tank. You
Mhm.
have really mulmy tanks. I
Yep.
have, I think, somewhere in between, but Fernando cannot keep mulm in his tanks. I have a couple ideas on why he's experiencing that, and
Yeah.
it's related to the shrimp that he has.
Yep.
And also I feel like leaves and botanicals are made up of various different cellulose compounds. I think there's different durabilities of the
Yeah.
fibers. And so I'm wondering if I just keep sending him really quick to degrade botanicals instead of more robust ones. Because, like, if you put a mulberry leaf in, it's going to break down really quick. But an
Oh yeah.
avocado leaf, I have an avocado leaf from Peru in this tank over here,
Yeah.
and it got flooded in it's been in there a year,
Yeah.
literally a year, because I set
Yep.
this tank up with Kevin in March, beginning of April of 2024.
Yep. Yeah.
I think it comes down to the composition of the leaves. What is your experience or tips
I think
for
it's
this?
yeah. I know shrimp for sure will rip apart and make like minute particles. Um, it could also be the leaves.
Yeah.
It's just weird because I guess I use a lot of kutch bark and like cocoa fiber and stuff, so it already kind of looks like detritus anyways.
Starts out.
Yeah, so it starts out looking like that. It might be the leaf.
Yeah, I don't. He doesn't.
It
He's saying he doesn't even get very much biofilms or like anything. It just seems to go brand new leaf, slightly broken down, sand, and then there's not that moldy layer in there.
it definitely could be the shrimp and it getting kicked up and it getting sent back to the filter or something too. Yeah,
A
flow
couple of
too.
fish is also saying flow. So I mean, yeah, if it's getting kicked up and then the flow of the filter, but it's in a paludarium. I don't know. We
Yeah.
can't remember in his reels. It doesn't seem like his fish are being blown around, but maybe
Hmm.
truly the mulm is just getting kicked up into his filters.
Well, and doesn't he have vampire shrimp too?
Oh yeah, the
Because couldn't.
bulldozer. It's just a
Yeah.
bulldozer in there. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things probably consuming it, breaking it down, processing it.
Yeah.
And in the process of those animals moving around the aquarium, it just kicks up into the water flow and then sucked into the filters.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Turn the filter flow down. Don't turn it off.
Yeah.
And maybe just add in consistently more items
Yeah.
more frequently. Two to
Yeah.
three botanicals per 5 gallons twice a week. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Or one botanical per 5 gallon twice a week.
5 gallons of crushed leaves at one time.
Yeah. Oh, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So I just created a big retailer knowledge book to give to my wholesale stores around the US. And one
Hmm.
of the things that I was getting asked was the management of detritus for people who do have it accumulate in the aquarium.
Yeah.
And I had to come up with a very beginner friendly number, like 2 to 3 botanicals per 5 gallons if you have fish to start. If
Yeah.
you want to remove the detritus, how much detritus per X volume of water? How frequently? And it was this question that I hadn't really thought of because we always talk about leave the substrate alone, leave the detritus alone.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we want it to be visually pleasing, and maybe you want to create a valley in the detritus. So I landed on like a 2 by 2 inch section per 5 gallons
Yeah.
at a time.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? benefits, pitfalls? What how do you feel about that?
I know it's not ideal, but when you remove detritus, you're removing somebody's food somewhere in the food chain, and it's just
Yep.
that chain reaction of, yeah, if we removed humans from the earth would be fine. If we removed ants from the earth is screwed.
Yeah.
Like,
Or
it's kind of the
bees.
same thing. You remove the detritus, you're removing someone's food, which is someone's food, which is someone's food.
Yeah.
Um,
Or habitat.
yeah,
Food.
or habitat, or both. Yeah, because I know a lot of the microfauna, even like stuff that you can't really see, like bacteria and unicellular
Yeah.
stuff, they
Yeah.
live in the detritus. That's their home.
Absolutely.
Another thing too is maybe they only take the detritus that's up in the front pane of the tank. Like,
Yeah. Although I do like the ant farm effect where
yeah,
you can see all the tunnels and stuff.
yeah,
So if you remove it from the glass surface in the front, you kind of lose that effect, which I feel like is pretty cool to watch that establish.
yeah. But yeah, if they don't like seeing a ton of detritus accumulations in their front glass, like, quick little
Yeah.
thing in the front glass, but if you can't really see it in the back,
Yeah.
you don't really know it's there, so don't take it out. Is kind of
Yeah.
my thing.
That's yes, that's kind of how, yeah, that's what I told the retailer accounts. I was
Yeah,
like, beginners are probably going to really struggle with letting this accumulate. So like you can tell them,
yeah,
but you're removing people's
yeah,
organisms' food. You're
yeah,
removing habitat, surface area colonized by beneficial bacteria.
yeah,
The aquarium becomes the largest filter in these types of ecosystems. So just keep all that in mind. But
yeah,
it was just a question I hadn't really ever pondered,
yeah,
and creating like a unit for how much we could remove at one time.
yeah,
Yeah. Detritus management, I feel like, is just a major theme in the botanical method aquarium.
yeah.
It's just, yeah. Never
Detritus and
thought that I
microfauna.
would be focused so much on detritus.
Yeah,
You got asked kind of a difficult question, which is related to the ambassador program.
yep,
And I've been thinking about that because I've had a number of people who've reached out wanting to join in to be ambassadors.
yep,
And I think my response for people who want to become ambassadors of Beta Botanicals is to just keep having fun in your
yep,
social media content,
yep,
and uh, create a brand for yourself. What
yeah,
are you known for?
yeah,
Do you have fun in comment that content? Are people commenting, asking questions, and just becoming a face of the niche?
yep,
And then right now I have a full roster of ambassadors. And so once per year, usually starting in November, I start going on the hunt for I go on the hunt for new people to start educating beginners in this hobby. And so I would say just keep at it, have fun, and send me content that you're proud of. I'll engage with it. I'll keep note on it. And
yep,
then when we get to November, I'll start auditing people in the niche who seem to become cornerstones and voices for specific either types of fish or plants or combinations of fish and plants, vivariums, etc. So
yeah.
that's kind of my mo for when people have reached out, because I think creating a web page for all the ambassadors right now, and I believe we have I like 16 people, which is so many voices spreading the methodologies of Blackwater, biotopes, and botanical method aquariums.
I
So
still have to do my homework. I
it's
forgot about that.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
Brandy, you're in here. Good
yeah.
job. So far, you're the only one that's submitted all that stuff. I do have the photo you sent me though with the snapping turtle, so I could use that. Snapping turtle, flathead turtle.
Spiny
You're
soft shell.
holding it like this.
Spiny soft shell.
Yeah, spiny
Yeah.
soft. Okay, yeah,
Wicked, wicked, wicked
yeah,
turtles.
those are cool.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So that's how I feel about ambassador program. They're incredibly important for helping to spread the knowledge to all reaches of social media on all the various different platforms. But
And I'd
just
say
have fun.
figure out what you do well and do it really, really, really well.
Yeah.
Like you said, make your own niche in a niche, but also have fun with it. And you don't just have to do what you do really, really well. Like, I do botanical method tanks. I have 2 planted tanks. I don't showcase them as often, but I still have them. Like, you don't have to just do botanical method tank.
Yeah.
I had a
Your
saltwater
whole
tank.
persona doesn't have to become a botanical method aquarium to become an ambassador. You just need to have one tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I have another Amazonas article that I got approved
Cool.
for.
Are you allowed to talk about it?
Yeah, it's gonna be Brachygobius species ocelot overview.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
That's right up your alley because you're a OB guy.
Yeah. I was gonna get the Brachygobius CF nunus from Wet Spot, but I don't know. They sent me a picture and it looks pretty much the same as the ocelots I already have. So I was kind of like, yeah.
It's not quite different enough. It's like with some of the Cochina betas, someone was just posting about they think they discovered a new species and it's an ubris either with tiny black dots or not with tiny black dots. And I'm like, that's cool. I don't think I need both.
Yeah. Well, it's like, even with like, there's 6 species of Barreris. Most people only know about 5. Because you have,
I couldn't even name
more than Barreris Brigitte, the Chili Rasbora, the poster child. You have Barreris Mara, which is the phoenix.
What's strawberry?
Navis.
Navis. Okay, cool.
So Brigitte and Mara look pretty much the same. Those are the 2 that they even think they're like conigers, or there's like an intergrade species with those. Chilies are just redder, and Mara, it's like a more orangey, and it's like a broken up stripe. You have
if
Navis,
chilies weren't so expensive, and I didn't have the barbs and graceful rasboras, I would just fill this tank with 60 Brigitte.
Yeah. Well, and even, what is it? Barreris Euro Thamloides or something like that. The least rasbora, exclamation point. It pretty much looks just like a chili too, but it's orange instead of red.
It's the black, and then it stops, and then it's a singular black dot.
It literally looks like an exclamation point. Those ones, I have a group of those with my red eye puffer right now. Those are gonna go in the grassland tank. Because that was one of the habitats that I saw them in. And then you have Maculatus, which is the 3-spot dwarf, and you have Navis, which looks pretty much the same as Maculatus, and then the 6th species, Barreris micros, which not many people know about. I got my hands on them. Wet Spot had them. I spent the money for them because I wanted them really bad.
Yeah.
I'm pondering moving them in with the species ocelot because I read the type description for them, and they're found with Brachygobius. They just don't list which species.
Okay.
But I'm kind of like, biotope inspired.
Yes, literally. The YouTube video of building this, what was supposed to be a Indonesian biotope inspired aquarium that then transitioned to Southeast Asia biotope inspired, and now is like some amalgam of South Asia to North America to Southeast Asia with all the different things. That YouTube video build series is going to get posted tomorrow. I just finished the final export. So that should be good. Yeah. I love just tacking inspired on there at the end because it's just this catch-all term that helps to soften the definition.
Well, yeah. And like I said in my other Amazonas article that I posted or got published earlier this year, there's really no such thing as a true biotope aquarium in my mind.
Unless you're getting that's in this issue.
Oh yeah, that issue right there. That's a nice magazine right there. I think I still have like 8 copies because they sent me 6, and I think I bought 4.
That's familiar.
I missed that tank say that every time I look at it.
What wood did you use in this tank?
So the wood that's covered in biofilm is honeysuckle.
Okay.
So that was like the first time I used honeysuckle in a tank. And then that thicker branch in the bottom is tigerwood. And I still have that piece in the garage. I kind of broke it up into like other pieces that I kind of regret doing, but it was like a really thick root ball.
Did you ever get Scott to sell the honeysuckle?
No.
Okay.
No. Scott, he's
missing out.
He was cotton.
So popular.
Yeah. I almost added it to my order from that I just put in last night because I'm like, I can't collect it anymore, and I really want more. But I was like, I'll wait.
There is a limited quantity left. I think I have half a box left.
Oh no!
And the hazelnut, I have even less. The hazelnut, I maybe have 6 or 8 bags of it left. The end of the box.
Oof. Missed out on that.
It's all right.
That one might come back next fall.
Yeah, it's a limited edition. It can be collected once a year, and when it's gone, it's gone. And then you'll just have
until next year.
Twigs. Yeah, oak twigs. I do have bigger oak twigs launching with the ichneocarpus bark, the ulan pods, and I can never remember what they're called, but there's palm sticks, fishtail palms. Those are coming back.
Fishtail palms are coming back?
Fishtail palms are coming back. They're en route to me right now. Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, we're gonna go on a little field trip real quick. I want to show. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yes.
Yes. So that's the old saltwater.
The one that the heater malfunctioned.
Yeah. No, different one.
Oh, okay.
This is the 45-gallon. This is going to be a crypt forest, basically.
Heck yeah. We can send you plants. I can send you plants.
But yeah, that's literally just pond soil mixed with play sand. That's all that is, really.
What brand of play sand?
It is the Quick Right washed all-purpose sand.
Okay.
Yep. So that's that.
Yep.
I have to go.
And in my experience, that sand insanely clouds the water, but doesn't affect the water hardness and TDS once the sediments settle out.
Right.
Okay.
And this is going to be insanely reflective, but I just set this up for my roommate.
Wait, this is a huge tank.
Yeah, it's a Red Sea 125, I think.
125 gallons?
I think so, yeah.
What are you doing in it? Plants or botanicals?
So it'll be mainly plants because they're not a big fan of botanicals.
Okay.
But that piece of wood.
Yeah.
And that piece of wood I had in college. Those are the pieces of wood that I sold to a guy down here.
Oh yeah. I remember talking about this.
And then he rebought them. So
that
was really cool. And then this is the palm meadow.
I love the palmetto.
Yeah.
What plant is that? Is it dwarf sage or is it?
It's Potamogeton guyi.
Okay.
So it's a South American pondweed, but we have some
what fish?
I don't know if you can see him. There's a little pea puffer.
Oh heck yeah.
Yeah, there's I think 5 pea puffers in there.
I tried to convince Kevin, Simply Aquascaping, to get pea puffers, but he wouldn't bite when we were at Aquariums Zen last time. I feel like it would fit his fish room quite well because they're such a personable fish.
Yeah. Oh, I love them. Dan's Fish has West Java pea puffers. So they're like a more muted grayscale pea puffer with like a metallic green eye. I really want to get some of those, but I don't have a tank. Cool. So, and then this is the 90 with all the fish. That's going in the 125.
Heck yeah.
So we have Bolivian rams. There's some albino threadfin geos. There's another geo species.
Yeah.
And then he even has some apistos.
Wicked cool.
Yeah.
And apistos is one of the fish that I don't have in the garage. I
Yeah,
think I opted for the Ivanacara bimaculata.
Yeah, and then the poster child.
Yes.
Although it's going to be insanely hard because the reflections and tannins, because, why
It's
not?
so dark.
I know. I really, oh my gosh, who was it? Oh yeah, Plants and Goldfish.
Yeah.
With the fluval breeder boxes.
Yeah, I love
I
what
really want to get a fluval breeder box and put it right there and do like pitcher plants or something. Really make it like a swamp.
I have a contact at Fluval, and I'm emailing them right now. I will ask if they're open to doing a brand collab
Okay.
and see if we can get you a breeder box.
That would be awesome.
Because I'm in talks with them for something else because they provided all the equipment for the 75 gallons, lights, heaters, skimmers, and filters.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, I'll message them.
The 2 tanks that are in the bedroom. That's the planet tank.
Heck yeah.
All of that water spray started out as like a 2-inch section.
Oh, wait, I need to get you that water spray, right? When I go down to Aquariums then?
Oh,
Next?
sure, yeah.
Okay, I'll see if Steve still has it.
Okay. And then this one, yeah, you won't be able to see in that one really at all, but it's just the lilies with
Lily tank?
This is the
I
lily
love
tank.
this. I love the lily tank.
Yeah.
The lily tank's fantastic. And I especially love the stickers at the bottom of the aquarium.
Yeah, these are good stickers. And that one.
Yeah, very good.
You need more of those.
That's an OG one. That's an OG. I have new ones. You can buy them. You can buy the complete set. I think it's called the Pimp My Tank decals on my website.
Oh, nice. And then I got this custom made for me.
Oh, heck yeah.
It's like all the bumblebee goby species.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, that's what's happening in the house.
That's
or the basement, I should say.
Yeah.
There was a fluval, Fluval Edge.
Yeah.
But there's a guy an hour away from me that selling them for $60, and I want it so bad, but
an ampularia out of the top of the tank would be hot. I have to look that up after the live. I can't guess what that plant is.
Same. Oh, Nepenthes.
Oh, okay.
Because who was it? There's another guy, Unsophisticated.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be a lot more active. He's not as active anymore, but I used to talk to him all the time. He entered, I think it was a 6-gallon cube where it was like that much water.
Yeah.
They built up like a little paludarium, and he had a semi-aquatic species of Nepenthes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it was a breeding group of licorice gouramis.
Cool.
And I think he won first place.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I know. I want Nepenthes so bad. I love Nepenthes.
I have way too big of a one hanging in the dining room in a window.
Nice. Oh, that's right. Yeah, he is in school. I forgot about that.
He's
been busy with school.
Brandy has a question, and then we got to wrap up the live because I have a really fun gutter project to do on my house because all of our downspouts got full of plum tree roots, and I have to go pull them out. Okay, for plants you guys ever add on top, do you ever think it's necessary to trim the roots? I had a friend that asked. What about, you know how pothos is safe to use in the aquarium unless it's consumed?
Yeah.
So when you cut the roots, you create an area where the compounds in the roots could maybe leach out, but I don't think it'd be a high enough concentration.
Yeah. I think it would be fine.
Yeah.
Especially, pothos for sure. I know those roots can get insane. And peace lilies too.
Yeah. I think you should be fine as long as the plant is non-toxic to dogs and cats inside the home. That's usually also what I go for with botanicals. If it's safe for consumption by dogs and cats in the yard, then I usually say it's going to be fine for the aquariums or vivariums.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's a small tank, it could bother the fish if the concentration, like if the stuff that leaks out of the roots, the compounds gets too high.
Yeah.
I feel like
it's pretty much like bonsai too. Yeah, like Plants and Goldfish said, if you cut the roots, it kind of stunts the growth.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's what Beck is saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it should be fine. I wouldn't cut too much off. I just transplanted monsteras because I had 4 growing in a pot, and when I
Yeah.
did that, I lost 50% of each plant's root ball, and they
Yep.
are pissed.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I just had to repot my pothos that I've had for 2 years now. And I
Yeah.
kind of looked in the soil one day. I watered it and it like pooled and it didn't drain. And I'm like, what the heck? Pulled it out.
Yeah.
I think I overwatered it at some point, and
Yeah.
then I underwatered it, and the whole thing was just full of mycelium. I don't know
Oh,
how it happened.
interesting.
Yeah. So when I pulled it out, 2/3 of the root ball rotted out. So I was left with like that much root, but the
Yeah.
pot was like that big. So
Oh,
now they're in just like a tiny, tiny pot. But it's yeah.
one more thing, and then I gotta hop off. But do you follow the account Dirty Roots Berlin?
No.
You should. Okay.
Okay.
He has houseplants and he uses living soil. So just like you add microfauna into your aquarium and we foster detritus and the worms in the substrate, he will add all of that into the soils of his houseplants. So
Oh,
he'll add
nice.
worms and springtails and roly-polies and all of these things because it helps to just aerate the soil, prevent compaction, nutrient cycling, and the whole shebang. And I'm like, that's so smart. Why don't we do more of that?
Yeah.
Like, it just makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
I think I'm gonna go to a fish store now.
I'm so
I'm not gonna
jazzed.
buy anything. I won't buy anything.
You're gonna buy something.
I don't.
And
give
on
a
that
fuck.
note, all right. Thank you everyone for tuning into this LeafyLive. We're gonna do these more on YouTube, and if you would like to join one of these LeafyLives in the future, send me a message, send me an email, send me a message on Instagram. I don't know how YouTube DMs work. I'll figure it out and we can
Alright.
talk about all things botanical. But Calvin, thanks for joining today. It's
Yep.
always great. It's always
Oh
a
yeah.
pleasure. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And everyone in the chat who hung out with us, thank you. It's great.
Oh yeah.
Perfect. All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.